What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. The contract with Black America was updated pertaining to sports and women, sports and entertainment and women. And I read it and I understood it. But I understand what might come after that also. So the sports wasn't necessarily, it was more sports business, like, being in stadiums, concession stands, using revenue to partner with black businesses and, how can I put this, branding, that type of part of sports where, you got black players on the floor and on the field, but you don't have black businesses in the stadium. You don't have black brands being promoted. You don't have, like the NFL was supposed to do with the players, with the Black Lives Matter social justice initiative that I don't think that happened last year. Where the teams were supposed to actually outreach and subsidize businesses in the community, but they had the players, quote unquote, you have to go in on it too. So whatever happened with that, I have no idea. But you could blame it on the pandemic if you want, right? But understand that other breast cancer month was still subsidized by the NFL. So that's a whole nother story. And other people's plights are subsidized by these sports entities. And then what we all came to see, the women's part. Well, so what happened was the women say they have special interests that pertain to women themselves and black women themselves in particular. So they want more resources, funding, formal apology, but it's kind of set up in the wrong way in the beginning because it's set up to say, black women were in slavery with black men for 250 years doing labor when that's not really true. Like, people don't look into slavery well enough to know that for close to 150 years, slavery was predominantly black males. Then they brought the women in like around the last 80 something, to be breeders because they started outlawing slavery. So you couldn't just ship people in, you had to get them, that's when they started bringing women in to quote unquote be baby mamas, right? So it's under that auspices, which is a bit of a problem when you got scholars writing this stuff up, but they don't want to say that. But I don't have an issue with it, with women having particular issues. What I do have an issue with is it's going to open up the door for guys, I don't have an issue with this, but I'm trying to go somewhere. The black men are going to say, good, we have individual issues too that are completely different from black women. And what it's going to highlight is how our struggles and their struggles, though we have similarities, we have stark differences. Because some of the things that they're putting in there, like, anti-lynching and Emmett Till, is like, that was vastly predominantly men. So you want lynching reparations because some women were lynched because they were. But the vast majority, I would say 80, 85, 90% of people that were lynched were black men. The vast majority of hate crimes, black men. Now, rape is a different story. Rape, because of the male-female dynamic, they could definitely, do that. Men were raped, but, it wasn't. But you're talking about the torture and the Willie Lynch letter and ripping people apart from their limbs and stuff like that, and cutting people's testicles off and fingers off and, the mutilations. It's a different ball game with the guys. But present, when it comes to business, the ladies talked about business, and the guys, I could see, you know, the blockbusting, the Jim Crow, the invention. Not it's like a sanction, but it wasn't, where you can invent something but you couldn't get paid off of it because of quote racism, white supremacy. So that whole the men's thing is going to be completely different. And you know, we talk about it in a space where men and women have a different political plight, and but it was highlighted when Ice Cube went on Cocktails with the Queens, and he's like, black women are black people, and the black women, no, we not. Okay, so we're really black people, but they want to be completely different. So it gives us men the opportunity to say, you know what, you're completely different, we're completely different, and we got our own grievances too. And when we lay out our grievances, it's really gonna highlight some things that women just gonna. Well, but that happened to us too. No, it didn't. Because if it happened to you too in that way, you would have put this in there. So, but on top of that, it's a good thing because the contract of Black America is ever growing and flowing. So just like everything else in society, it evolves. But also, I don't think people recognize this, but racism and feminism work hand in hand. So white people benefit off of racism, white people benefit off of feminism. It's two wings of the same bird, right? So in my opinion, it's the same thing, you know. And I think at the end of the day, when we see our differences, we see the gender differences, you know, parenting is going to come up. And that's going to be an issue with men, with the contract of Black America, not just with the government, but with our women too. You know, so it's going to be some smoke in the city, in my opinion. But it's necessary, it's needed. So I can't wait to see what happens. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Peace.